Here we are in the last lesson of Module 3 on flip video creation. In this lesson, I'll be talking and showing you all about editing in Camtasia. Please know that Camtasia is my #1 recommendation. So it is where I focus our time in this course and in this module, as I truly believe it is an asset to any flipped classroom. However, editing in one program, if Camtasia isn't the one that you want to go with, although won't be exactly the same, learning one program gives you an advantage in learning others. So stay tuned and we're going to talk all about editing in this lesson. So in this lesson, I will give you an overview of the program, as well as show you what features of Camtasia that I've been using since Go. I won't get too fancy and I'll try to keep it simple so as not to overwhelm you with the unnecessary. So let's get to it. Here is the visual again of the overall video creation process. We've already covered the first two phases of slide creation and recording. In this lesson, we'll focus on editing. You are in the last phase of the process, and that is just so exciting. We are getting so close. There are so many things I want to teach you here, but the best way I can think how is to show you. So grab your pen and paper, be ready to jot down what you learn here so you can optimize your time in editing. This lesson's video will look a bit different because I'll be spending a majority of the time in Camtasia, the actual program, showing you how to edit and publish your video. A quick note, when you first download Camtasia and open up the program, there will be a video in the Camproj for you to watch that is a tutorial. I suggest that you watch that to start getting acclimated to the program. I'm going to give you a broad overview of the program and then get into details that are specific to creating flipped videos, at least based on my experience. Okay, so we're in Camtasia here, and I want you to know that this is from a Mac. So I am recording on a MacBook, and many of you are probably using a PC. That is totally fine. It's going to look so darn similar. Just know that not everything is exactly the same, but I try to keep that in mind as I'm talking here. So what I've brought up is what's called a Camproj, and you can see that. It stands for Camtasia Project, right? And it's abbreviated to CM or CAM in some cases, PROJ. Now, this is the last lesson that I just recorded and I'm going to edit. I haven't edited it yet. So when you open Camtasia, it will ask you what it is that you want to do. Okay, so I just opened an already existing project. When you double click on Camtasia and open it up, it's going to ask you what you want to do. You will select new recording. It gives you new project, which will take you into Camproj like this, or new recording. You'll select new recording, at which point the box pops up that allows you to select and test your mic and camera. Afterwards, meaning after you've recorded your video, your recording will automatically plop into what's called a Camproj file, standing for Camtasia Project. This is the file that you are able to edit and have all kinds of fun with. Here's the thing, this is not the video file that you will upload to YouTube or any other spot as a video. Things like Play Pause It or YouTube or other video sites like that don't recognize a CAM project. They recognize an MP4 file, and we'll talk about that. So let's take a look around and get to know what we're looking at and working with here. The biggest window on the right over here is where your video is housed so you can see it nice and clearly, right? Like this is my video and you can click on it and what it'll do is show you what track you've selected down at the bottom. And I'm going to talk about the tracks here in a second. If I click on the webcam, which I can just drag and make bigger, it'll select that track down here at the bottom. To the left of that is your media bin. This is where the recording and any other media you would like to input can be housed. Let's say that you goof and forget to mention something in one of your videos. Have no fear. You can simply open up the Cam project where you want to add a recording. You can click on record, then it will plop right into this media bin. To add that recording, what you'll do is just right click and select Add to Timeline at Playhead, and then it will show up down at the bottom. Now, let's say you want to add an image to your video. For instance, if you are talking about endorphins and how Reese Witherspoon's in the movie Legally Blonde references exercise's impact on endorphins level, and you want to add an image of the movie cover, well, you do that here. And I'm speaking from experience, right? That's totally an example of something I've done in mine. You can simply save the photo from Google Images. And here's the thing, because you aren't making money off of these videos, you're good to just use that from Google. Then click the Add button. So on the Mac, it's this plus here, and you'll click to import media. Notice that you also have an option to import from Google Drive, and you'll grab the picture from there. So it'll show up here in your media bin. You'll right click on it, just like you did to this piece here, and add it to the timeline at the playhead, and it'll show up in this spot over on the right. Speaking of that player down at the bottom, you will likely see two tracks, just like here. One is your slides, which if I select the slides here, which is my screen recording, right? And one is your web camera, as highlighted here, which I've shown you that already. So what this means is that the video and audio are in the same track. Now, you most likely won't need to separate your video from your audio. But let's say that for some reason you just despise the video of yourself for whatever reason, and you just really cannot publish this video with your visual of you, right? Here's what you can do. Select the track down at the bottom, and I want you to right click it. And you'll notice that there is a separate video and audio option. So now my video does not include my audio, and I can just click delete and it's gone. Now I'm going to undo that here because I want my video. But let me just really quickly give you an example of what I do. So in these videos that I create for you, at the beginning you see me. In the middle, you don't, and at the end, you do again. So what I do is I get the playhead, which is this guy here, which I'm going to explain in a second, where I want it to kind of divide where I want you to see me and where I don't want you to see me. I'll right click it and I will say split all. Then I'll go to where I want you to see me again. I'll click split all again. And then what I can do is just select the track of the visual, the video, and I can delete it. So now you don't see me in the middle and you do see me at the end. Okay, some big things you need to know about this space down here at the bottom is how to zoom in and out so that you can be more precise with your editing. So I'm going to bring the playhead here because I see a big long like blank right here, right? That big long gap of silence, which is what I want you to see when you need to edit something out. But it is just way too small right now. So I'm going to click here on this plus sign to zoom in a lot. Right? I zoom in a lot and you'll notice the time, right? From here to here is 15 seconds. Okay. And that still is quite a lot. That was a really long pause that I had, obviously. So you can really zoom in so that you can see in what I'm saying here in these humps and stuff, where I want to edit out specific words. Now, I want to show you how to select a section to cut. So let's say that I want to cut from right where I am here because I noticed that I started the word that I want to cut out, and I just want to cut out all of what it is that I say here. So I put the playhead where I want it, and then I'm going to click and drag the red over to where I want to cut out everything. Now, I can also drag the green back if I wanted to, and that'll include it. And then I come over here and I click the scissors, and bam, it just cut it out for me. Now, I can click undo and it comes back there. But just make sure that you see those green and those red draggers. I don't know what that's actually called, but they're the draggers, and then your scissors over here. The last thing I want to show you before showing you how to publish your CAM project is how to add items and fancier things, but not too fancy, to your videos. To the left of the media bin, where we've spoken about previously, below where your record button is, are many tabs of options here. I am only going to show you the library and annotations, because I don't want you to bite off too much to chew here. The library is where fun things are preloaded into Camtasia. Camtasia provides those for you that you are totally able to use. So I'm going to click on library and you'll see each of these. So an icon, you can click the drop down area and look, there's even education. So like, let's say, hey guys, I want you to get out your calculator now. So I'm going to right click on that calculator and say add at the timeline on the playhead, and bam, there it is. And I can reposition it. I can like twirl it around if I need to. And then one other thing that I want to show you, anything that you are selected on in this main area here, if you click on properties, it will show you about how you can change it. So I can make the kind of transparency of the calculator however I want it, but I can also do that with the other parts of my video, right? I can do that with my audio and visual, as well as with my screen recording. So there's lots of options here in the library. I want to show you really quickly the motions seem to be really cool. Like this laptop open seems to be kind of a cool thing. But really, you could do an intro. So what you would do is just take your playhead all the way to the beginning of your video, all the way up here, kind of clip out any blank, like awkward preparation that you did, and you could add any of these intros. So you'll again right click, add to timeline at playhead. Now notice that when I did that, it's on the same time frame as the rest. So what I want to do is click shift and select all 3 of the other tracks and drag them back, so that in the video, it's just that intro that's being shown. And I can double click in here and I can change any and all of this. So then you can do the same thing with your, what they call outros, right? So you can do that with a conclusion if you would like. That I guess is fancy, but it really doesn't take a whole lot of time. Okay, the other thing I want to show you is annotations. And this one is really huge and probably what I use more so in my videos as far as the fanciness goes than anything else. This is where you can add arrows, text boxes, even thought bubbles or captions, all things to help bring your students' attention where it needs to be. That's not in your slides, right? That is on top of the recording that you already made. So what I want to do is show you a couple of things. So under where it says call outs here, and then you have arrows, then you've got shapes, then you've got blurs and highlights, which seem to be really cool. And then some other ones as well, some sketch motion. So like if it appears like you're writing something, and then some keystroke call outs, which could be really cool if you're guiding them in that way. The other one, and this took me a second to figure out, is if you look at style, it's automatically defaulted to basic. I want to encourage you to select all so you can see all of your options there. Please know that under arrows, none of these arrows have animations unless you give them an animation. Whereas, where did it go? These sketch motions, they do have an animation, right? And I totally have used those before, especially this one that's crossing it out, right? Think correlation does not mean causation, and you can have that drawing as you say that. So super, super simple, but really, really effective. You want to, so getting away from our kind of tabs over here, you want to make sure that at the very end of your video, and I guess you could say at the very beginning as well, the easiest places to trim, that you trim off that awkward part where you're trying to find the stop record button, right? And then you're finished editing once you do that. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in this video here. So I'm going to show you, I'm like signing off in my video, right?
Go ahead and click next to see lesson 2.
And then you'll see here that I kind of go to my screen and I look to click stop recording, blah, blah, blah. Well, I want to clip all of that out. And I say that very overtly here because it's very easy to forget that and your students will totally see it and they're going to make fun of you. No, I'm just kidding. They're just going to like kind of giggle about it, right? All right, so that brings us to publishing. Now, this may look a bit different on the PC as compared to the Mac because the menu where you select this from is towards the top left. It's going to be over here, right? Whereas on the Mac, it's the top right where we have this share button. Once you find where that is, your options are going to be really the same. So you'll click the share button, and then you have some options here that you can take advantage of. You can produce the file into a local file, and it will produce it into or export it to an MP4 file. And once that's finished, you'll do the next step of uploading it to YouTube. So a local file is just going to be one that is saved on your computer. And then you'll go into YouTube and you'll follow the directions to upload it there. Or another option would be when you click on share is to upload it directly to YouTube. And it'll have you put in your password to make sure that you're logging in to the right account, which for me, it totally is. You want to make sure that you're logged into the right account, which it shows you your email address there. So when you select YouTube, you'll have some cool options that you would have if you manually uploaded it to YouTube, including your title. I want to recommend that you come up with some naming conventions here. Mine was always whatever the video was. So for instance, let's say encoding flipped video notes, let's say it's part 1. Unit 7, whatever that number is for you, the course name, AP Psychology by Mandy Rice. And I included my name in there because that helps with search engine optimization, meaning when your students go to YouTube, let's say, because they don't remember where to find your videos, they can just put your name in and they'll find your stuff. But then you also have tags and a description. You want to pay attention to make the video public as well, and make sure you're logged in the correct YouTube account, which I've said previously. And voila, you're done. You'll click share and it'll upload it to YouTube for you. You did it. You now know all you need to know about editing videos for your flipped classroom. Of course, there is so much more to learn if you would like, but I'm telling you that what I just went over is about 90% of what I know and do in my flipped videos even still. I don't go much grander than that, and you don't have to either. Now, with time, you may want to expand and, go above and beyond, and that's totally fine. But please don't feel overwhelmed by this editing process now. Think of it as a way to enhance your videos and make them even more quality, and therefore your flipped classroom more successful for your students. Now that's it for lesson 3, and really that's it for module 3, where we talk about video creation. So you learned what a CAM project is, or Camtasia project file. You learned how to edit that recording and how to share and publish your video to YouTube. Your take action piece for this lesson is simple. Edit and produce a video. You will probably want to come back to this lesson, right? Or the notes that you took while watching, so as not to forget any aspect of the editing process or where certain features are housed in Camtasia. And that's great. Remember, my recommendation is that you do it all once first. Then you'll get the hang of it and be off to the races with your next videos. I suggest that you plan out time to edit and produce your first unit of videos this week. And that is a big undertaking, but think of how great that will feel when you are ready to go when school starts. Man, that is seriously such a great feeling. And also remember that next week is our first work on the work or catch-up weeks. If you're up to date on the lessons, then you get to work on the work next week. And if you're able to, get that first unit done this week, then go ahead and start unit 2 next week. And that's it for module 3. In our next module, module 4, we extend past videos and we talk about another very important aspect of the flipped classroom, and that is content specifically for your students. Now, granted, the videos, they're for your students, but I'm talking about what you physically give them, as well as developing the processes or the procedures around your flipped videos in your classroom, like what students do when they didn't take the notes on time. Oh yeah, we totally go there in the next module. For now, focus on the take action of Module 3 because it's quite the undertaking. Remember why you're here. That is to have an impact on your students without killing yourself in the process and allowing students more time to engage in the content, creating that classroom atmosphere you've always wanted. You are officially halfway through this course and getting ever closer every day to the flipped classroom and the results that you want. Don't shortchange yourself, but also have some grace. Take a deep breath. You're going to rock these take action pieces, and I'll see you in Module 4.